looking place, very unique looking place. Yeah, very unique appearance to this little spot. You're never going to get it confused with anywhere else, this road. If I stop, you might be able to see the rainbow. And look at that there. You see it? Quite a bright one. You can see that quite easily. Went out twice yesterday. Once I went just around town on this bike, then I switched on my other bike. Had about half battery, so I went slowly. And I went up to Stowe and went round the back, round Akeley Wood, and by the time I got into Stowe, like where the edge of where the garden is, I noticed I had a weird like feeling in my stomach, like kind of like a stomach ache, but not. I kind of felt like when you go over like a bump in the car, like when you go over like a bridge in the car, and hello dear. And yeah, it just seemed to come on quite suddenly, and it wasn't just that. It was just a general. It was like a sense of like weakness as well, like a little bit later. But it was just this weird, like I had this weird, just a bad feeling, and yeah, it was like a bad feeling overall, and it was kind of like a negative energy with like an oppressive like energy, like bearing down, like putting like pressure on you, you know, just like sinking onto everyone, you know, this negative energy. That's kind of how it felt like to me, and I can't think of an explanation. It didn't feel like, oh, I just ate something bad or whatever. I hadn't eaten for like over half an hour, and I didn't eat that much when I did. And I don't usually have like just random health issues when I'm riding. Like the only thing that could cause that is like some kind of chemical, but I didn't sense anything. It wasn't like I smelled any chemicals or saw anything. The only thing was I passed some sheep, and I know the sheep get like dipped in stuff, and that's supposedly pretty bad for you. But could have been the sheep. There's some lambs, little lambs. Could have been the sheep. I don't think it was though, because I've never had that problem before. It seemed to last until I got back home. Even when I was back home, it was hanging around for about 20 or 30 minutes. Yeah, it was hanging around for about 20 or 30 minutes when I got back home, but and then it sort of cleared up quite quickly. But it's like it started quite quickly and then it ended quite quickly. Whereas if I'd and then after that I felt kind of normal. I felt kind of normal after that, right? If I'd been poisoned by like pesticide or something, or like sheep dip or something that I'd gone past, I probably would have noticed it for like hours and hours. I would have felt it for the rest of the day. I would have felt tired. I would have felt tired afterwards, and I also would have sent it. Oh yeah, whatever this was, it didn't cause any like effect. It didn't cause any effect on my brain at all. Whereas usually when I'm exposed to something I don't get on with, it's going to affect my brain like first, if nothing else. it's rare that I'll have an issue and then my brain won't be affected. It's just weird, right? And like I said, this was a few hours before, like maybe an hour or two before the eclipse started to hit Mexico. And then, as I said, my brother, and I noticed my brother this morning looking quite tired, and I said, "What time do you go to bed?" And he was like, "I didn't sleep very well." And then again, like our maid girl, Holly, right? Like a friend, friend of the family sort of thing. She said the same thing. "I didn't sleep very well last night." And they're both Earth signs. They're both Virgo. They're both Earth signs. Their solar sign is Earth based. So I thought that was really interesting. And then the other crazy thing is, there's this young guy I watch on YouTube. And he's at university and seems to have a bit of a difficult life, has a hard time like with the women or something, has a hard time making friends or something, talks about his life, honestly, and you kind of feel sorry for them, but you're kind of interested to see how their life's gonna continue and what sort of experiences they have at university. I find that quite interesting. It's just interesting to get a young person's perspective on what the society's like at the moment. Someone who's actually in there, someone who's like still at school or whatever, that's actually like interacting with a lot of people. It's really interesting for me to get their perspective. Well, anyway, on the YouTube community post, he said that he was starting to see strange things around him, especially when he tried to go to sleep. He would see all these people standing around him. And it was very clear, it was very vivid, all these people. It was very vivid, which is unusual for him, he said, because he wears glasses. He's like blind in one eye or something and wears glasses. Or he can barely see in one eye. And he said tries to go to sleep and he sees all these people like standing around him, and then he'll turn. If he turns, they're still in the same place. So it's like they're ghosts and they're just standing around him. Jesus Christ, the wind's picked up now. Look at this road's got fucked. What's happened to this? It's collapsing at the sides. Collapsing either side. But yeah, that's really weird. I wonder if he's could be seeing something that's going to happen in the future. like maybe, you know, why would all these people be standing around him? Maybe he's seeing his own, not, it could be death, it could be his own death, or it could be just be like an accident he's going to have in the future, and he's going to be on the ground, all these people around him. It's just really weird, right? Because at the same time you've got this story about demon face syndrome. You got this, what they're saying is a new disease where people see like demonic faces, and they look very weird. But there's this old music video which shows the exact same kind of looking thing. This old music video by, I think it's a somewhat popular band from like the 90s. Very strange. And there was also this celebrity woman. She put up this post, and it was like a picture of herself, and she looked very snake-like. She didn't look human. She looked like a predator, you know. She was kind of like, you kind of transfixed by her eyes. It looks like she's about to eat you, right? It's like she's casting a spell, you know, by looking at you. One of these weird celebrities, and in the background of the picture, all the people's faces, they kind of look like they've been made with AI, and they're all weird looking, and they look a bit like zombies or clowns or Joker, or some of them you could say they look a bit like the demon face, but like not exactly, because the demon face was like very specific, whereas these just look like generic, like creepy like face, like Joker face, you know. It's very strange. We're in a very strange time right now, and the information I have tells me that things are going to get bad in the world over the next few months. Things are going to get pretty bad. For a lot of people, it depends where you are. Obviously it's already getting bad for like the Ukrainians, the Russians, people in the Middle East. Jesus Christ, I've never seen a pothole like this, not for a while. The size of this pothole. Look at this. Jesus. That'll do your car in. I ain't got nothing to shove down that to see how deep it is, but you see it's pretty deep. The camera doesn't really do it justice, like this one. Went down this track like a few days ago and went through this mud, and it was deep enough for the top of the wheels to, you know, top of the rims to get buried in the mud. It was so muddy. My tyres cut into the mud like 5 inches deep. They're building like, that used to be an old scrapyard over there, right? They started building like within, I don't know, 6 months they've built like 3 houses there by the looks of it, like countryside-y ones. There was an old scrapyard there. I think there was a house already there though at the top of it. But yeah, it's just, I don't know why they decided that. You can see that you've got these 3 houses there. Wonder how much they'll be worth. I like this house on the right. I really like this one. But yeah, I've got these three houses they're building here all of a sudden. Apart from that, this village hasn't really been touched by anything. Hasn't really been affected, although you do have the HS2 a few miles down the road, but you can see they're building like 3 houses there. Look. 1, 2, that one looks finished. Might still be working on it. I left their van there. These those are like mud embankments. All that insulation. Shiny insulation. It's very much a traditional village here. Still, from what I gather. Yeah, you do have high-speed rail just like a mile down the road.